All right, everybody. Business called. I am Andrew Bradell. That is Juice Springsteen. We are alive here. Juice, I hope you all are doing well. It is a fantastic Thursday to be alive. We have a lot to cover. We have a WrestleMania show. We have some locations to talk about with WrestleMania. We have a Grand Slam Australia show to talk about. Have a ton to do, plus your questions, or answers if we can answer them. Ask it. We will answer it.
Drew, your connection is not great, to say the least.
It's not great. Can hear me. I can hear you. You can't hear me?
Oh, I can hear you, but you're cutting in and out, and you look like a potato is filming you currently.
Oh, man. That's no
little
good.
Pixelated Drew. Right. So, I mean, we're good for right now.
I don't see that on my end.
Am I coming in clear on your end?
You are.
Yeah. Okay, well, then it might be you, unfortunately.
All right. Well, let me check this out real quick.
Your audio seems good. Your video is doing okay so far, but it kind of keeps cutting in and out. I think we'll fix it eventually.
All right. I look like a potato.
Well, potato was filming. It looked like that type of Nokia quality. Yeah, you're familiar with those types of phones. You're a little older.
Oh yeah. That's hysterical, Juice. Absolutely hysterical.
Yes, we got a couple of things to talk about tonight. Grand Slam Australia, the non-pay-per-view, pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's going to be exciting. 5 quality matches. I'm not sure if they'll add any more, but if they keep it at 5, I'm cool with that. So we'll discuss that. We got a lot of NXT type stuff. We got some venue stuff, some people debuting. We don't know their name yet.
Do I no longer look like a potato?
Yeah, you're looking good right now.
Better now sucks for a second. All right, cool, Blake. Thank you very much.
Blake's being nice. That was more than a second because I was like, man, Drew's running through his whole spiel yet.
Drew is in 8-bit. All right, okay.
I'm glad it wasn't just me.
All right.
So we should be connected on my end. So Drew, outside of that, how are you, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah. Like I said, it's a great day to be alive.
Always.
Can't complain. There's unfortunately football has come to an end, which, don't get me wrong. I love me some professional wrestling.
Shout out to Corey.
Congratulations, Corey.
Fly, Eagles, fly. They did exactly what they needed to do. They followed the 2022 Bucs blueprint and defeated Mahomes.
It was a little bit different, I'm going to say. And it wasn't.
They made Mahomes run around like a maniac. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, come on.
High def Drew is the best. Hopefully I'm better now. I don't know.
HD Drew, yeah.
HD Drew. Yeah, listen, we won't make this a football show, but sports are my passion, but I absolutely love the wide world of professional wrestling and sports entertainment. So there's a lot of it now. Baseball's, not really back. You want to count spring training, go for it. Football is done. Hockey's at the All-Star break, even though they got some really cool stuff going on right now with the whole country classic thing. So I'm here for it, but professional wrestling is at the forefront, and that's why we're here. Kenny Pickett, Super Bowl champion. Yes, Matt. Crazy.
Yes, he is. That finger in his hand is a little bit small for that ring, I presume, though. So
we had a lot happen in the world of professional wrestling. I want to start off with this, and then I'll let you take the show.
Sure.
Because that's what this is. I have no idea what's coming away besides this. WrestleMania, we had Gunther and Jey Uso make it official for the World Heavyweight Championship. So here's the deal, right? When that happens, that means that obviously everyone's targeting Cody, which I think is interesting. I want to say this, and I want your opinion on it. A lot of people are saying, oh, man, everyone's jumping the gun with all this and that with Jey Uso. I don't think Jey main events either night of WrestleMania. And I don't mean that, Jey and Gunther, I don't mean that with any disrespect. I think the best way, in my opinion, to get WrestleMania night 1 off and running is everybody and their mother yeeting. I think Jey Uso and Gunther will open WrestleMania Saturday. And no, nobody has this information. It's not like I don't deal in dirt. This is just my opinion.
Yeah, and it is just funny that main event Jey Uso, who was promised the main event of WrestleMania, will likely not main event WrestleMania, but still get that World Heavyweight title opportunity. My interesting perspective on this is it's crazy where Gunther last year was at the height of his 600+ day reign as IC champion. And as long as things play how we think they will, even though it's early, Gunther might lose both of his singles championships at back-to-back WrestleManias and then be left with nothing. But
think about that for a second. I mean, Gunther is a made man now. He's a made man.
Absolutely. He's done so much in a year to elevate the IC and now this new championship. And he's going to probably put over Jey Uso and arguably the biggest match of his career. So Gunther's in a good place no matter what.
2 big positions for Gunther on the grandest stage of them all, and that's WrestleMania, and he is a made man. And even if Gunther does drop the World Heavyweight Championship, which I believe he will, to Jey Uso, he's still a made man. So it'll be all said and done, and it'll be all roses, in my opinion, for Gunther. Here's the deal, though. With that being said, Cody Rhodes is now, the man that everyone's targeting at the Chamber. I'm going to say this because I want to, getting that early in the night, everyone will have to recharge and rebound quickly. That's the whole point. Because you don't want that match to be before any other match in terms of later on in the card, because good luck. But here's the deal with this. I want to get back with Cody. You got Cody, Punk, Cena, I believe McIntyre has qualified, right?
Logan Paul.
And Logan Paul. So you have 2 open spots. I want to say this, and I said I'm going to talk about this, and I want to lead off with it because normally I end the show with this type of stuff, but I want to lead with this because I think we kept people waiting, unfortunately. So I want to lead with it. I think a lot of people are not fully understanding some of the things that WWE is doing, and it's in plain sight. You just have to open your eyes and ears, in my opinion. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm just taking what I'm given.
You could be wrong. That's happened before.
I've been mistaken. I've never been full on wrong. But
oh, come on.
I'm just kidding. Corey, by the way, I got my Super Bowl ring on for you.
Look at that. Where'd you get that? A cereal box?
No, I got my kid a Super Bowl cake because we went to the grocery store and they had these on the cakes.
Pretty badass, because normally it takes like a mail away to get something like a trinket like that.
Yeah, my son was like, I want that. And I was like, well, we got to buy the cake. And he's like, cool, can we get it? And I was like,
the cake.
Sure. So this was Super Bowl Sunday morning. I went because I flew home, got it. And I was like, he's like, I want that. And I was like, I don't like, nobody eats cake here. Fine, we'll get it. So the kids had a slice of marble cake. They're like, this cake sucks. I want the ring. Anyways, here's the thing. John Cena and Punk has called out Cena a bunch, right? A bunch. I'm going to whoop your ass. All this other stuff, blah, 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 blah. Punk isn't holding a championship, and neither is John Cena. So that leads me to believe that seeds have been planted a little bit for something. I truly believe we're going to see some sort of convoluted finish at the Chamber. I believe
even in a chamber match, something's
not right in Denmark. All right. Which
is it the Paul Heyman favor that's throwing you?
No, the favor is not the thing for me. I think people are making a lot about that. And I think that would have to do with Roman and him. Maybe when he wins the World Heavyweight title or the WWE Undisputed Championship, then Punk could ask for his favor. But you got to remember, Punk and Cena, there's no championships attached to either men. Punk is talking a lot of crap on John Cena. For me, I think we could get some wonky, screwy, something's not right in Denmark finish at the Elimination Chamber that bleeds over into Mania. Could we have a situation where it's very reminiscent to WrestleMania 10? Maybe not entirely, but could we have 2 world championship matches from Cody Rhodes? One on Saturday, one on Sunday. One with Punk, one with Cena. Now, or could it be something where we get Punk versus Cena in the main event of night 1, and the night 2 would get Cody night 2? That way Punk gets his main event. You get Punk and Cena on night 1.
And you get Seth Roman then.
And here's the other thing that a lot of people aren't putting into the equation.
That'd be one hell of a thing. Give me someone in that Mr. Perfect referee jumpsuit, and we're all set. And a coin toss. Give me an old-fashioned coin toss.
Here's the other thing that a lot of people are not putting into the equation, in my opinion. And when everybody else starts hammering this and using this, and they're going to say that they came up with it, bullshit, okay? Nobody came up with it. Well, I'm going to tell you this. Here's my thing. A lot of people aren't talking about this. A lot of people cannot afford to go to 2 nights of WrestleMania. This is John Cena's. All right. So there you go. This is John Cena's last WrestleMania. Okay. He said it. I'm done. So this is a way to get John on both nights of WrestleMania in a wrestling capacity where the fans, if they're only going to one night, they could get to see John Cena one or the other night. They don't have to pick and choose. WWE is smart. They are going to capitalize, and they're going to want to send fans home happy. Listen, Roman had to wrestle twice. Cody had to wrestle twice.
Yeah,
I'm not sure we're going
unprecedented, why not?
Brett did it. I'm not quite sure that this is what is going to happen, where John Cena just has one match at WrestleMania. Now, a lot of people say, can you trust John? Right. Can you trust John and his body and everything else like that? At this point, I believe you can. And truthfully, a lot of people are paying a lot of money to go to WrestleMania Saturday without even knowing what's on the card. A lot of people are paying a lot of money to go to WrestleMania Sunday without knowing what's on the card, but they're there because it's Cena's last WrestleMania. You can't trot John out on Saturday and say, welcome to WrestleMania, everybody. And then we'll see you Sunday. A lot of people will be like, man, I wanted to see Cena. So what this does, 2 birds, 1 stone. John gets to wrestle on both nights of WrestleMania, send the fans home happy who are paying an asinine amount of money to go to this sucker, and you get everyone's a win-win. That's just me. That's just me.
And that in that theory, Drew, that I do somewhat agree with, that means you're assuming Cena would win that match on night 1 to get night 2. Does that leave
Punk, he wins that match? Does
that leave Punk out of night 2? Or do we somehow see Punk Cena on night 1, another screwy finish, and we get what I propose is a triple threat between Punk, Cena, and Cody? Because all three have beef with all, like, it's all interconnected.
Well, you asked for a referee. What happens if CM Punk is the special guest referee for the Cody John Cena match, and reluctantly Punk counts the 3 for John Cena? Built-in feud, built-in match for Backlash, wherever that's going to be. Just saying.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. I just it seems like a lot just to put it out there as like, well, this has to happen. Like, all these dominoes have to fall for that to happen. I'm not saying they're unable to pull it off. Like I said, Daniel Bryan, Brett, all these guys have done it before. And I'm not, who is saying, oh, Cena's body couldn't handle it? It's his last WrestleMania. You don't think he's training as hard as he's ever, been able to work out to get to this particular moment, to where as long as he's successful throughout 2025 and doesn't get hurt, boom, he's good. Like, he doesn't have to worry about training to this level in ring. He can just be jacked for his roles, So that's quite a interesting idea you have. I hope you've tweeted it out already before someone watches this and steals it.
I have not, but I will.
You have to have the timestamps, although this is airing now. So in theory, you could, crop that, throw that out. And, as long as you got it first. Although it'd be funny if they did it that way, instead of Cena winning, Punk wins and Punk beats Cody, and Cena still has to wait till either King of the Ring or Money in the Bank to get that shot, and they just drag it on. Because I know a lot of people have thought about that too. What do you think's better, Cena winning at Mania, or the time just continuously running out and he gets less and less chances to, I got to win this tournament, or I got to win,
That's the thing, right? My son, is a big John Cena fan, and he was yeeting when Jay came out, but he did not think that Jay was going to win the Rumble. So when John got eliminated, Jackson was very much like, what? And then I was like, but hey, Jay won. He's like, yeah, that's cool. But then he watched the press conference, and he was like, John was like, I'm coming for the chamber. I'm not taking questions. And Jackson was like, bam, I'm back invested. And that's what we have to do is wrestling. Like, I feel like we're numb to this stuff, because a lot of times, not you, not me, and not some other people that I talk to or consider friends, because a lot of them, it's wrestling at the end of the day. It's entertainment. So they don't take this stuff literally. They don't scream and shout. And if they don't go a certain direction, it's not like, why don't you listen? You're so stupid. That type of stuff. That none of my close people do that. That's the mentality we need to have. Like, Jackson was sitting back and he was like, John's in the chamber. And what this does is, John's got to film a movie. Rock's filming a movie, all this other stuff. So it gives John the time off. And listen, John winning the chamber or having a wonky finish, all John's got to do is show up the next night on Raw, Triple H or whomever, Adam Pearce, Nick Aldis makes it official with this type of match or that type of match, or John wins the chamber, match is set for Mania, doesn't need a ton of promotion. Bing, bang, boom, see you at Mania, win the championship, and then John can burn through some appearances as the world heavyweight the undisputed WWE championship all the way to SummerSlam. Because at the end of the day, John doesn't need to be on every single Raw or SmackDown. No. He does not. They don't need it. They don't need it.
No, they don't. And the best part of your whole scenario would be that we avoid the no stakes Rollins, Roman, Punk triple threat that's been prophesized. I don't need to have a triple threat where, unless they said this is for the number one contender at whatever next PLE, I don't need to see a triple threat of that magnitude, even though it's a huge match and I want to see it. I don't think it needs to happen at WrestleMania, let alone some people are saying it could main event like night one. But if whoever wins doesn't get anything dictated at the start of the match or to hype it up, then I don't care. I don't want to see one main event of WrestleMania be for nothing. Okay, great. Roman beat Punk and Rollins, or Punk defeated the two guys from the Shield, or Rollins got over on those guys. Like, okay, and like, I don't want to see that happen. So I'd rather have what you say, and maybe you get a screwy finish. We could see people cancel each other out in the chamber. Like if Priest gets in, I could see Priest canceling out Drew, Logan, being involved somewhere, maybe getting canceled out by maybe Seth Rollins or whoever else is involved in that chamber by the end of it. Cause I do see Priest making it and seeing Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman potentially continuing, hopefully with some sort of blow off street fight or a cage match at some point. Whether that's chamber or on a big episode of Raw, that remains to be seen, or SmackDown rather. But I think it's where we're going. So a lot of intriguing parts, moving parts. I always say this with, anybody I talk to, whether it's on my show, this show, just on Twitter, the more unpredictable wrestling is, the better. Because if people like you and me who've watched combined for like 40 plus years can't figure out what's going to happen, that's what you want. And you having the perspective of your kid watching, that's the perspective a lot more fans should just, maybe lean into for 5 minutes. And remember when you used to watch wrestling and it wasn't your only life, where if this guy wins, you're not, life's not over.
And here's the thing, a lot of things changed in 2020, some for the good, some for the bad. But in this industry, in my opinion, the wrestling journalistic landscape, media, it changed for the worse, because every Tom, Dick, and Harry got a camera, a microphone, and a light, and they all consider themselves journalists or experts. And realistically, most of them have trouble, wrangling their wiener out of their trousers to take a leak, and all of a sudden
forming a sentence.
Right. And now they have a podcast, which, listen, I want everybody to eat, but when you sit on a show and you call the WWE or you call other companies, AEW, TNA, whatever, moronic or stupid because they don't listen to your booking ideas, you have become the problem. It is on you. And I'm not going to get preachy here, but it's on you. You have worked yourself into something, and it's not on the company or the stars. It's on you. And that's the problem. A lot of people need to sit back and understand from a business perspective and an entertainment perspective what goes into these companies, and not just be like, listen, I know you like a certain talent, but just because they don't book them to be the world champion or her to be the world champion doesn't mean that the company sucks or they should listen to you.
Especially with AEW, there's only one world champion. Like, what are we doing? Like, only one person could be world champion. In WWE, you have at least two, but I mean, come on. You gotta, not everybody can be the champion. Not everybody can have the big moment. That's the benefit of no off season and wrestling continuing for however long it needs to. At some point, your guy might come around and get the title opportunity, and that makes it more special. This is Cena's year. So let's Cena have whatever they want him to have. And, in 2026, you won't see John Cena. So, get over it. Or don't watch wrestling until 26. There's plenty of ways to not deal with it. Turn it off.
Listen, I was invited by WWE to go to the Elimination Chamber in Toronto. After hearing Ari Emanuel's comments about, we got some big things I've heard, big things cooking for the chamber, I might go. But at the end of the day, I have been media credentialed and can still be media credentialed, or my media credentials are active for AEW, WWE, and TNA. So I don't do anything to stay on anybody's good graces. I call it the way I see it. But a lot of you, in my opinion, need to take a step back, breathe, and just understand that your opinion is not the only opinion. And my opinion is not the only opinion.
Well, we know that's for sure.
It's a weekly episode. It's for your entertainment. You shouldn't be this angry over professional wrestling.
Drew, did you like that store? Or, I mean, I guess there are some stores still for your entertainment, FYE.
FYE, yes. Yeah. To have a DVD, I feel like everybody did. But when I was in college, I had, I don't know, like 400, 500 DVDs. I had a huge DVD collection.
Just regular DVDs? Or are you talking wrestling DVDs, or what are we talking about? And your
just movies.
Your connection's getting finicky again. So, producer, check it out.
I don't know what's going on here. Just movies, buddy. I never did. Just movies. I didn't do. Don't get me wrong. I had some wrestling DVDs, but my collection was a lot of movies. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Wedding Crashers. I remember we used to, watch a different movie every night in college because there was really nothing to do besides what you think people do in college and watch movies. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big proponent of physical media. Big wrestling DVD guy, and I still have them because we've seen the abomination of what Peacock and all these other places have had, with rights and the music licensing and getting rid of stuff like that. So if you want to have the real deal stuff, you got to keep it. Jesus. Oh, Blake, never change, pal. Never change. But
I got into it today, Blake. Good for you.
He sure did. But that's the wonderful world of social media,
I listen. I think if I asked, I could probably get media credentialed for HOG. I don't know if they even do that, but I'm going to sit back and enjoy that one from my home, I think.
Yeah. I mean, why not? It seems like it's going to be an interesting show, to say the least. You never know who's going to show up.
Has the connection gotten better?
We're good now. Yeah. Right. Well, to be fair, every time I do these shows, I turn my phone's Wi-Fi off. I make sure everything possible on my end is my computer connected. So
there you go. Wi-Fi's off. I've never had this issue. I pay for damn good internet. Let me tell you something. My internet provider is going to hear about it.
Well, they're not going to hear about it if you're connected like this. I'll tell you that.
All right. So again, Chamber's going to be interesting. Watch out for Cena, in my opinion, the whole Punk thing. If it doesn't happen, it's not a screwy finish. So be it. But I have a funny feeling John Cena is going to work both nights of WrestleMania. That's my prediction.
I'm just trying to figure out what could a screwy finish in the Chamber look like, considering it's as no DQ as you can get. I mean, although Michaels came through the floor and super kick Taker when they were setting up their match, so really anything could happen in the World Wrestling Federation. But
wow, anything can and will happen, right? Maybe I don't do many of the fantasy booking stuff, but I'll say this: maybe Seth is in the final 3 of that Chamber and he just gets eliminated and just lays both of them out. And, that's it. I don't know.
Double stomp.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well.
But the whole triple threat between Seth, Punk, and Roman doesn't make any sense to me. I think people are working themselves into that match and I don't get it. So,
well, they're basing it off of what happened at the Rumble. But like I said, if there's no reason for them to wrestle, then you're wasting potentially 3 separate singles matches with all 3 of those guys separately.
You want to know what the Rumble was, in my opinion, that whole spot, which I think a lot of people dissected too much. I think the spot was if Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson cannot work WrestleMania for some reason, they have a pivot with Seth and Roman. If they need to go that route, it's a very simple match. Roman can return, go after Seth, blah, 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 blah. But if The Rock is willing and able and can, which I believe he will be, because that's what I think Ari's talking about, Ari Manuel, I think it's Rock Roman. And I think that was just basically the backup plan. Like, I got a hedge here. Triple H says, I got a hedge. Because if I don't get Dwayne, okay, then, we got this. And it's an opinion. I'm not sitting here saying this is factual. That's just my guess.
Oh,
never know.
It's a fact. You said it.
That's it. Right. Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
You said it. It's on tape. We got it.
That's it.
So,
All right, Juice, go ahead, buddy.
Outside of that, so we talked a little WrestleMania. What are your thoughts on potentially WrestleMania 42 going to possibly my favorite WrestleMania location out of the ones I've been to, New Orleans, where it's, Super Bowl was just there, a lot of hype there, great town, Bourbon Street's lively. What say you, Drew?
I love New Orleans. I've been to 4 events there, 2 of them being WrestleMania, 2 of them being Super Bowls. For me, New Orleans is a great host city. Don't sleep on New Orleans. Listen, I know y'all love Bourbon Street, and if you haven't been, go once, enjoy yourself. But there are so many different things to do in the French Quarter, and there's so many off streets, off Bourbon that are a blast. You have to experience Bourbon, don't get me wrong. Absolutely do. But for me, the food's great. The people are great. It's a great host city too. I mean, there's everything's within walking distance if you need to. And for the most part, it is a fantastic host city. I will not tell you my favorite hotel there because I do not want you Muppets at the hotels that I'm at. And I'm only kidding. But there's a lot of good hotels. It's a great host city. It really is. And I do believe, I put this out a month ago, I believe New Orleans is hosting WrestleMania 42. I believe that. I think Tennessee's hosting WrestleMania 43. So how about that?
Ooh, yeah, I wouldn't hate that. That's even closer for guys like me up in here in the
Brand
East.
new stadium. I think WWE wants to be the first, event there. I think
if
it's
not
possible.
one of the first.
Yeah, I know that the construction has caused some people to, back off of the claim of WrestleMania being in Tennessee in 2027, but I believe WrestleMania 43 will be in Tennessee. I believe WrestleMania 44 is headed to Indy, and then all bets are off after that.
Which means, well, that leads to 45, which they always do something unique for those round numbers. Well, I say round, but I mean, it's
maybe they go back to, maybe they go to Dallas, maybe they go to Detroit, maybe they go to Atlanta, who knows? But,
Yeah, I don't know what else they could celebrate because they did the Detroit for 20 years since Mania 3. So I don't know. Maybe they'll do, well, that's where I could see them doing it for 43, but I don't, 43 seemingly is going to be, well, you say Nashville. So I guess it's going to happen in Nashville.
There you go.
So
we'll see.
Some other stuff. We want to talk a little Mania ticket sales thus far. In addition, if you want to touch on the thing you put out today on location, you got $9,500 to throw around. Go hang out with one Hulk Hogan and try some real American beer.
Listen, I'm sure, Barnum Bailey said it the best. There's a sucker born every minute. So, or every second. I don't remember the exact quote, but I think it was Barnum Bailey said that. So I'm sure somebody will buy it and, more power to them. There is not a ticket that doesn't involve the New York Jets and the Super Bowl that I'm paying $9,500 for. I'm sorry. I don't care what it is.
Well, unless it's front row at WrestleMania. I don't need to be in a suite for $9,500 where I can't see anything that close.
Dude, I got 3 kids. I'm not paying 10 G's to go sit in the front row at WrestleMania.
Okay.
I sat in the second row.
I have 0 kids and I would pay $10,000 to sit front row at WrestleMania.
Listen, you know what? Yeah, if you got 10 grand to blow, let me know. We could.
I'm not going to Vegas, so clearly I don't have 10 grand to blow.
I'll pay a couple drunk guys, buy a wrestling ring, and you could sit front row and watch them beat the shit out of each other for 10 grand. That's crazy, Juice. Make better decisions. But hey, listen, if you got,
I didn't make the decision. This is a hypothetical.
If you got it, go for it. No, I'm not sitting in the suite with anybody for $9,500. Like, no, that's just irresponsible. But again, WWE is not stupid. Somebody's going to pay it.
And it's 1,000%.
Yeah, somebody's going to pay it, just not me, brother. And listen, again, if you
that
got the money
work for me, brother.
If you have the money and the dough to sit in those seats, go for it. It's not that I don't have the money. It's just that I'm not going to waste my money in that. And again, I get it. I know some people who sit in the front row at these WrestleManias and they wish they were $10,000 a seat. They're costing them $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 to go sit in the front row at WrestleMania. So God bless these people. But for me, I'm just not doing it.
That's crazy. Like I said, I think like it was a bucket list item for me to go to WrestleMania. And that's why but my ultimate was if I can go one time in front row, like hard cam, that's what I want to do. No matter what, if I can afford it, I would like to at least make that happen. And I would probably only do that once.
So WrestleMania 30, there was 8 of us that went for my, I had a party for WrestleMania 30. We went down there and we all chipped in and, that was WrestleMania 29. And we sat 3rd row in New York. And then WrestleMania 30, I was very nicely given 2nd row floor seats behind the announce table for WrestleMania 30
right
in
next
New Orleans.
to Dusty.
Yeah. Well, it was Brett, all those other guys were in that row and I was there. So it was very, very nice. And that was the closest I've gotten to front row. And I will never try and duplicate that experience. I'm not going to spend 60 grand. So thank you very much. That was 11 years ago and I'm happy with it. So there you go.
Yeah. You're not doing that in this economy with this level of WWE because everything's
it's just a lot of money. God bless them.
Crazy,
they're getting it and everything else like that. So God bless them. It's just not for me. Even if I was a millionaire, I'm not sitting front row for WrestleMania.
Well, I mean, if I was a millionaire, I would for one time. I just want to do it once.
Go buy a car.
Drew,
you understand that?
I just bought a car, Drew. I'm very financially aware, but if I was a millionaire, I would do the one thing I want to do one time and be happy.
Well, yeah, go do what you want to do. Yeah, I'm not going to manage your money. Go for it.
And you said you've been to Super Bowls and stuff. I've never been, so I would much rather just do one event one time, instead of being able to go to 15 other ones.
I am the Eagles' good luck charm, I believe. Every time I work or go to a Super Bowl that the Eagles are in, they win. I did not work the one in Arizona, and I didn't even step foot in Arizona, and they lost. So I'm just saying, Philly, what's up?
I think they're doing okay now, but have you ever seen the Flyers win the Cup? Not in your lifetime. Not in my lifetime.
I've never. So I just missed the Islanders rattling off their 4 in a row.
Well, it might be a while for them too.
Might need a new co-host. Let's go. What else you got?
Oh, come on. Any other additional thoughts on just the Mania ticket sales at large as it stands right now?
I think
acumen in the ticket world.
I don't remember seeing a WrestleMania having this many available at this point in time. I want to say there's like 7 or 8 available, 1,000 for each night. Normally the WWE has done a very good job of pricing and everything else like that. I believe that this event, this time, it's Easter weekend. I know a lot of the kids are off from school that Monday. It was smart, strategic, but I think Vegas, I think there's a lot of factors right now. But it's a Rock's announced. I think a lot of people will jump and those 7,000 tickets will fly.
Once the chamber's over, Rock could show up. You might know if Cena and Cody's happening. A lot changes March 1st. So
yeah, and I want to say this. I don't think that WrestleMania is not going to sell out, but I've never seen. I can't remember a WrestleMania taking this long to get. We're in February. Don't get me wrong. There's been times where WrestleMania 35 had some tickets available in New York City or New Jersey. Up until about like January-ish and maybe early February. But I haven't seen it like that in a very long time. Even the Tampa Mania, when they just came back from everything, those tickets flew. The Dallas, Texas one, those flew. LA, although highly priced, flew. And last year, it was one of the hottest tickets around. So I just think that, it's a little concerning to me about the WrestleMania ticket sales at this late in the game, but it's WWE. They will have no problem selling them out as we get closer and closer. But, it's something I haven't seen in a very long time.
Yeah, we talked about it. Just the fact that it's in Vegas. Everything is going to be higher priced in general, let alone like what he said. You don't know who's going to be there just at the moment. But like I said, as soon as March 1st comes and goes, a lot more is going to be set in stone. And I think you're going to see, those sites that aggregate how the tickets are selling and how fast they are. I think it's going to be like, wow, we are seeing a lot going a lot faster than we anticipated now that we know maybe Rock's going to be there, or again, you get Cena at least at the show regardless, but now maybe who he's facing. So once that comes into play, I think you'll see some more tickets.
And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people who are waiting for that market to crash. There's a lot of people who are waiting for WWE to lower the ticket prices, et cetera, et cetera. That comes with the game. But realistically, I have not seen the market being tickets wise readily accessible in a very long time. So
yeah, do you think if they do announce New Orleans that it'll be a little bit more affordable than Vegas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Even though 2 nights and they're just as popular, you think the tickets will still be more affordable than just where it's at now based purely on location?
Well, Frank from Las Vegas says, I live in Vegas. It's expensive to reside here. WWE priced out the locals for sure. And I would agree.
Yeah.
I've done WrestleMania. I've did a suite for WrestleMania for the past I'm having to look at my wall here.
Oh yeah, you said you're not doing it this year.
Yeah, since WrestleMania 28, I'm sorry, 28 in Miami. We had suites, we had really good seats. They were always very accommodating, and we always struck a deal. Last year, I struck a deal with Lincoln Financial Field and WWE, and we were able to get a bunch of club level seats. I sat with Dave Hero, Cal Hero, and some others, and we all enjoyed ourselves and stayed warm. The seats were obviously outdoors, but we were able to get into a climate controlled area during the show and everything else like that. They were club seats, and we did I had one suite, and it was great. This year, you couldn't do it. You could, but I mean, they wanted like $50, $60, $70,000 a night for WrestleMania, and it was just crazies. So, I think WWE is going for high gates. They're going to continue to get it, but I think WWE, and I said this many, many years ago, WWE is pricing out your normal blue collar fans. And again, I said it, go to WrestleMania while you could afford it. And I don't know if it's affordable anymore.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. I think it may be early to say anymore, but if New Orleans or some of these other places where Mania has been before are not as accessible as they were before, and people realize that and they go, wow, I went to 30, I went to 34, and now I can't go to Mania 42, then it's like you're really pricing people out, which is, kind of unfortunate, but you and I both know they're going to sell out that damn building regardless. So
yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Let's transition into some unfortunate news, but we'll kind of make a positive spin on it because I think a lot of this can be turned positive. A lot of what they used to call spring cleaning happened in WWE recently, and we had quite a few released talent, which, it does happen. It happens everywhere, and we'll talk about that on the AEW side as well. But, when one, contract ends, another can begin. So just out of the following, and I'll kind of briefly run down the list. Authors of Pain and Paul Ellering, Cedric Alexander, Sonya Deville, Blair Davenport, Isla Dawn, Giovanni Vinci, the Good Brothers, and Elektra Lopez. Drew, out of those in particular, who jumps out to you first as they will be fine? They will likely go to AEW or TNA immediately and do something very well.
Juice, I have a lot of respect for you, but I'm not going to play this game because I don't like to do this. I don't like to predict where people are going to go because realistically, they just got released. You never know the situation. I have no idea what's going on. I think all of them have an opportunity to land somewhere, but I don't like to monetize, which we really don't, but I don't like to make any sort of like money off somebody or anything else where, they're not because of somebody losing a job. It's just for me.
Could you look at what if I phrase it this way? Would you like to see Cedric Alexander join the Hurt Syndicate?
I think AEW has a bloated roster already, and I think WWE needs to continue to cut some of their talent. It's just an unfortunate part of the game, and the same thing goes with AEW. Would I like to see Cedric join the Hurt Business? I would like to see anybody be able to get work if it's meaningful work. So yes.
True. Do you find it interesting that WWE added the Women's United States and Intercontinental Championships, yet, seemingly you're cutting some people that could have easily gone for some of those mid-card titles? They kind of the roster when they do that, but
there's only so many minutes. And in my opinion, that is a wrestler's biggest equity. Is being able to be on television, and once you're there, maximize your minutes. So the biggest equity that any promoter or company can give you is television time on their television time that they're paying for. So, or they're being paid to produce, et cetera, et cetera. So, I think it's a tough decision. I think a lot of these men and women will find work, but I was very disappointed in a lot of the content streamers who would come on here and just be like, released. It was minutes, hours after they were released. Yeah. And it was like, this is where they should go. This is what they should do. And it's like, geez, dude, like that body's still warm. Chill. Like they'll all figure it out. And I wish them nothing but the best. But at the end of the day, I know it's part of the gig, but I just wish we changed that culture a little bit where it's like, all right, let's let them figure out where they're going. AEW didn't flat out put out a statement saying we wish the best in their future endeavors, or we have come to the releases of Miro, Malachi Black and Ricky Starks. Ricky just happened to show up on NXT, and the rumors went rampant, and Sean Ross Sapp reported it. And if Sean's reported it, he's obviously got good sources on it. I was told that Ricky was done with AEW, and la-di-da. A couple minutes later, a couple hours later, bang, he's in NXT, or a day later. So there you go. And I think the opportunity in the door is going to be there for a lot of these men and women. I just hope once they're given the opportunity, they kick it through. Cedric would be great in AEW. Yes. So we'll see.
Right. And I respect that you would prefer not to touch on the negative side of all these. I just try to put some sort of positive spin and not necessarily predict where they're going to go, but you just can't ignore, again, with the Authors of Pain, they split the tag titles up, yet they're getting rid of a tag team that I felt had some equity. I thought they did a lot of great work when they were with Seth Rollins back in the day. And it's just interesting to me. Like, I think they could go somewhere and do great no matter where they land. With pretty much almost all of these talent, even the Good Brothers, they've been around forever and they've bounced everywhere. I think they're still going to find a lot of success.
I think there's a lot of options and other places other than WWE and AEW. And I think sometimes you need to go to
the landscape's a lot bigger now. It's nice.
Go to MLW, go to TNA, go to
GCW.
Sure. Go to GLCW. Shout out Dave Hero. Go wherever you got to go. Yeah. Go wherever you got to go. Work the independents. Do whatever you got to do. Just find work if that's what you're looking for. I respect you. You know that. I just have no interest in playing the what if game. And again, it's not because I don't want to. It's just because at the end, do I see these men and women landing places? Absolutely. But am I going to say, this person should go here? That's what's best for their career. Man, all that. Yeah. You don't know what's best for them.
Of course. And that's why I wanted to present it in a way of it's just like, is this something you could see them doing? Because I'm the same way, Drew. I don't want to assume some of these people might not want to work for a while. They might be thrilled that they get 90 days to kind of sit on them just losing their job and figure out the next step in their lives. So I fully understand. I think it's a little, it's been about a week since this happened. So
I think all the AEW talent is going to land somewhere. I believe. I think they're too talented not to, and I think the same thing with the WWE people. I think you already saw Ricky jump to WWE NXT. It seems like that had a lot of buzz, rightfully so. I think Miro and Aleister Black will 100% land somewhere as well. I think Aleister Black is probably made for WWE. I could see him debuting after WrestleMania.
I agree with you. And I actually think Miro would do well in TNA, but I question, do you think as a different regime, could he just go back and them really play up Rusev and Rusev Day and get back on that train if he wants to do that? Because I guess he'd have to be on creatively to do that. But I wonder when, it was at such a high point before, now different people are running things. Maybe they see more still with that. Like, again, same with Aleister Black. These are guys that had a really prominent level at a point. They go away. They do a lot of great things in AEW as well. And now, maybe they got more creative freedom if they were to go back. So I think, it's really great that there's so many places to go. And I would like to transition to that Ricky Starks thing. Do you think that he's going to keep that name? That's been something that's, been circulating. I tend to agree. I think they'll keep the name. I think it's almost on purpose that they're kind of vaguely introducing him. And I like the fact that he just kind of came through the crowd, a la Scott Hall. Who I am, but I'm going to tell you who I am.
Right. I think it was very interesting that he, even the NXT stuff, which Ricky's debut on NXT has over 770,000 views right now. So probably won't get to 1 million, but it's getting damn near close by, the end of the week. From Tuesday to, Friday, getting 800 to 850,000 views is very, very good.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, and it was a good shock. It really was. I had tweeted that I thought Ricky would end up going to NXT because that's where a lot of the smoke was in terms of the noise and everything else like that. The quickness that had happened, I was shocked by. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm gonna take you to what was going on in my house on Tuesday night at like whatever it was 8:30 here. I was laying in bed and I was falling in and out of sleep. And and all of a sudden I hear a familiar voice and I was like, what the and I looked up and I was like,
do I have a DVR episode of Dynamite playing?
I was like, that's Ricky. I was like, okay, good for him. So good for him, truthfully.
Yeah. And for those out there saying, again, of course, as soon as this happens, there's detractors. NXT's developmental. Ricky will never go anywhere. You know who else was in NXT and turned out fine? Charlotte, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe. Seems like they did okay. It's like, and NXT is not developmental anymore, considering, and we'll talk a bit about this too. We can go to their next. NXT Roadblock is happening from the theater at Madison Square Garden. Not too many developmental programs go to Madison Square Garden, Drew. Am I?
I mean, listen. Yeah, no, I don't think NXT is developmental. I think NXT is like the
Evolve is. Evolve will be.
Sure. You know? And we talked about this last week. But you know, NXT is full on touring. Like that's where they're going back to. They're going back to a full on touring brand, and rightfully so. I mean, when you got guys like Ethan Page, you got Trick Williams, you got Tony D'Angelo, you got now Ricky Starks. You have that women's division.
Julia, Stephanie Backcourt. Tell them it's developmental.
And you haven't even seen Jordan Grace show up yet, and she's in Orlando. I mean, that roster is stacked, and it's not developmental. It's WWE's third brand. I've said that a million times. I'll stick to it. And you know what? Here's a bold prediction. I think once Ricky is a regular, and once Jordan's a regular, and some other people end up there, they're going to do $1 million. They're going to do $1 million.
I wouldn't.
There they are.
And doing $1 million without Cena, Cody, and Taker on the show.
That's what I was gonna say. They're gonna do $1 million without having to load it up with some other talent. I mean, I'm just telling you, there's a lot of interesting cats in NXT, and it's continuously getting interesting. And I would stay tuned. I think there's more to come.
And the fact that they're working with TNA, is TNA developmental? NXT. Is
NXT's WWE value brand. What I will say is I think NXT is more so for the fan, and it's an affordable brand. Yes.
I put it like this, where NXT again, people complain that NXT is running in front of a small venue all the time. Guess where TNA ran forever? The Impact Zone. But guess who had the most passionate fans? TNA. And it worked out for them. And now they're working directly with NXT. And maybe NXT, before it got to the WWE Network for their first NXT Arrival shows back in 2014, maybe then it was developmental. But once they got on the network and you saw Neville and Cesaro and Sami Zayn, and it became bigger than that, and you saw these guys that you knew were killers on the independent scene, this is where it was WWE's independent brand. That's what I looked at it as. It was, these are the guys you might not see in Raw or SmackDown for a while, if ever, but they're going to hone their craft and do what they need to do to make sure they have equity in WWE if they get to that point by performing in NXT. And now they've toured, they've done everything. They had huge takeovers at big arenas. Pandemic hits, they had to reset a little bit, and now they're back on track. And they have another crop of young talent that's hungry. That Ricky Starks just came from AEW, and whether it was him or AEW or a mutual disagreement and how it all ended, that's in the past. Ricky Starks is now in NXT, and he's looking to the future, and I can see him getting a huge run in WWE as long as he keeps the foot on the gas. So more power to him. And like you mentioned, right, and that Matt says it right, mega independent, worst kept secret. And it was, once they put it on the network, it was like, wow, I can't believe they got this down there, because it was FCW with some randoms. So it was.
And the thing was is that
week combo ticket on accident.
Yeah, Corey, I was working that pre-sale, and you weren't the only one. It was wild. I was watching, because that's what I do for a living. I monitor the pre-sales and make sure that what's going on is correct. And I watched, and Corey, you could tell me if you saw this too, but I watched them put, I think it was $300 floor seats in there, and they were good floor seats. And I was like, whoa, I was like, that's a mistake. And then they quickly adjusted them to $1,399. And I was like, okay, that's better. But whoever made that mistake, you're fired. Goodbye. You missed it by, and if somebody was able to lock them up at $399, my God. But I will say this, as soon as you saw the likes of Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura heading over to NXT
oh my God,
to get that final polish. I mean, give me a break. That was no longer developmental. Bobby Roode, come on. They were selling out the Barclays Center
every year.
I was there. It was wild. Adam Cole made his debut. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts.
Again, it's all about perspective. Once this is not mean to take a shot at AEW. This is more about the people that are tribalistic over AEW or WWE.
Mm-hmm.
It was like as soon as AEW came in, NXT was the AEW was the new NXT. It was, this is hot, fresh start. We got younger guys on here that we never thought we'd, like the Young Bucks, and these are the guys that never went to WWE, but were just, you know, as good if not better. Your Kenny Omegas and those, you know, types of guys. It's like, okay, well, NXT had that, but now we got this, and it's on TV every week. And I don't know. I feel like people lost their way with what NXT used to be and decided, I'm going to be just AEW. But now NXT's right up there doing great. And you can't just like both. Like, what are we doing here? Can't you like both shows?
Yeah.
Not in this day and age, Drew. Guess not.
Yeah, I'll never understand the tribalism. You know, I'm hoping that I know that it's never going to end, but I hope it does. I don't understand why you want one company to have a monopoly. I don't understand why you want one company to succeed and the other one to fail. If the boys and girls in the company don't give a shit, you shouldn't. If they're rooting for other people to have success, you should too. A healthy landscape with two viable options or maybe more is best for business.
Best for business is 100% correct, Drew. So what are your thoughts on NXT running that theater at MSG? I love that. I love that they're bringing
production team is already there.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah, because they have Raw the night before, right?
Yeah.
At the actual Garden. So, man, yeah. MSG Raw on Netflix is awesome. I hope they do the old school entrance. What are your thoughts on that? Do you hate that? The hard cam entrance like Rumble 2008? Do you like that on TV?
For MSG, they can't do that anymore.
They MSG can't or they won't? Oh, no.
MSG gutted the building. They renovated it. So the last time I think you saw that was either a Raw or Royal Rumble, and they won't do that ever again. The Madison Square Garden layout is different now.
Oh man!
But I'm with now. Could they have a smaller entrance at the Garden to fit more asses? Yeah,
sure. Right. Which I like when they get to come out now and look back like Punk did and saw all those fans above the screen, but it's not where they're blocked by the screen. They're over it and they can see everything. It's like a worthwhile ticket to purchase. So I like that.
Yeah. The thing with the Garden is once they gutted it, the lower bowl, I believe now has, I want to say it's the 100 level. Then you have the Chase Bridge and everything else like that. But yeah, I don't think they have the entrance way there that they could do that from, because I don't think they have the, I mean, I'll have to look at it. I'll have to bring it up, but I don't believe that once they gutted it, I think things changed in terms of like what they could do. I mean, I think it's different. So.
Yeah. Well, speaking of different, this is something fun I wanted to throw past you here. I want to read you the new trademarked names that WWE has put trademarks on. And I just want to hear your thoughts on each name if you have one. Mm-hmm. Osiris Griffin.
Sounds like a WWE ID guy.
I thought of the Osiris shoes as soon as I saw that, because I had buddies that loved those shoes. They slipped them on, but they flew off all the time because they never tied them. They tied them once and they were just slip-ons from then on.
Oh, gotcha. I want to just go back to the Garden thing for a quick second.
Yeah.
They are using a small, they're using like the Saturday Night's Main Event type of entranceway. Small ramp, they're going to have fans behind the stage.
Okay.
Perfect. So very much like what you saw at Saturday Night's Main Event on Long Island at the Nassau Coliseum, and what you saw at the Intuit Dome. So smaller stages.
I can't wait for them to go to the Intuit Dome again. They need to go there for a PLE next.
They will.
You know, why not?
They will. Go ahead.
All right. About that. No, it's fine. We're only going to talk about Hayes Jameson. What the hell is that?
That sounds like a drink, and that'll be for a WWE ID guy or girl. Hopefully, guy.
Okay, probably all of these are going to be WWE ID guys.
They are. I was hoping you were picking up on that.
Yeah, I know. My first thought was, do you remember the guy who ran around with the Bushwhackers named Jameson?
I do.
I thought maybe that was some sort of really deep like rib of like them joking around and hazing Jameson. I don't know. That's where my mind went.
I think you're thinking too much into this, but go ahead.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for. Trill London. Frankly, it sounds made up.
Trill the Thrill. I'm going to, again, okay, great.
I think WWE ID.
Well, it is. All of them are WWE. These names are not for anybody like on the the
Trill,
roster.
Trill. The only thing I think of with Trill is ASAP Rocky because everything's Trill. True and real. Yeah. Harley Riggins.
Harley Riggins.
We'll talk about a Harley later on for Grand Slam Australia.
Yeah, all right. Cool. I like that.
I like me with some alliterations. Summer Sorrell.
Okay.
Yeah. Jax Presley.
Okay.
Some of these are better than others. Some are bizarre. One of these is like crazy. Mason Holiday, and Mason is spelled Masyn.
Again, I think you guys and girls make a lot out of these names. I don't give a shit.
I'm not making a lot out of them. I'm just curious as to where they could have originated. Like, were they thrown into a random pro wrestling name generator?
I mean, it sounds like it.
Draco Knox, relative of Mike Knox, former ECW
champion, right?
No, he never won, but he did bring in Kelly to the business. So shout out to Mike Knox. Tate Wilder, relative of Deontay.
Okay.
Braxton Cole, brother of Adam, nephew of Michael.
You're an idiot. Good.
Me, Chantel Monroe. I don't know.
Okay.
That one that one actually sounds good. It's like Tiffany Stratton, Chantel Monroe. I feel like all these other ones, maybe Summer Sorrell, only because of the alliteration, and then Aria Bennett. I don't know. It's just an interesting, exercise of grammar and why they came up with these particular names. And I'm very interested in who ends up getting them, because at some point the name Braun Breaker was probably involved in this, and now look, he's rising star. You just never know.
I could tell you, I don't care. It's all about once they get the name, what type of what they do with not with the name, what they do to win the crowd over. You got to connect with the crowd. Your name could be Hillbilly Pete, and if you don't connect with the crowd, nobody gives a shit. You could have the best name. If you don't connect with the crowd, nobody gives a shit. So I don't care what these people's names are, just as long as they make a connection. That's what's most important.
Yeah. I hope Harley Riggins goes far.
As long as it's not a Bear Claw Lee or whatever he was going by. That was ridiculous.
Bear Claws. Was it Bear Cat? Bear Claw's a pastry.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that.
It's a Bear Claw. Oh, brother, this show has gone off the rails. Hey, what would you prefer, Drew? Would you prefer a segment where I just talk about randomly generated names, or would you like me to talk about the type of pen you're using?
God, either.
One of the greatest clips in the history of Drew and Juice. That's just a Sharpie. Is that a paint pen though?
Metallic silver.
Well, no, because that's the thickness of the paint pen that you should use on autographs instead of an actual Sharpie.
Your face was priceless. Well, I'm not wrong, sir.
That's right. Hey, if I know something, I'm going to make sure I try to back it up.
All right. What else you got?
Are you aware of that, Drew? With autographs, you should use a paint pen and not a Sharpie.
You know what? Here's what I'm going to tell you. My kid,
because they fade. Sharpies fade.
Sure, my kid would obviously ask for autographs, but for me, I have always been a picture guy. I have a wall full of pictures of people.
Same.
If I want to meet them or shake first of all, I shake everyone's hand that I meet for the first time or whatever.
Yep.
But if it's someone of importance to me, there's a picture hanging in my office. I have Shane, I have Stephanie, I have Triple H, I have Paul Heyman, I have Eric Bischoff. If I meet somebody of importance, I would love to take a picture with them. And more recently, I haven't even asked people that are important to me to take pictures with, because it's just, I don't know. I've just become so, I guess, comfortably numb to it. I worked with Taylor Swift for a bunch of years, or a year and a half, and I never took a picture with Taylor. I never did. No. I don't know why I didn't, but I never did.
I was going to say, I can't believe you. You should have done it. Yeah. Imagine.
Well, my wife could tell the story. I pulled up to the house with 5 Escalades, and Taylor was in one of them, and she's like, "Can I go say hi?" And I was like, No. Hey,
I just got a picture over the weekend with former First Lady of WCW, Missy Hyatt. How about that?
I did see that. She wanted your shirt or something. You guys are talking about shirts, you pervert.
Well, I don't know about that. No, I specifically knowing she was at this indie show, shout out to WrestleRex and Sam Adonis, if you're not familiar with him.
That's isn't that Corey Graves' brother?
Potentially. So WrestleRex, great independent show, had a great time there. Saw Mark Madden there, former WCW ring announcer or commentator, but Missy Hyatt was there. And I specifically wore my Beach Blast 92 shirt because she won the Beach Blast 92 bikini contest against Medusa. And she was pissed that she didn't have that shirt. She was like, I never got one. So I was like, I'll look for one. I'll see what I could do. But
a gentleman would have given her the shirt. You would have taken the shirt right off your back. That's what you should have done.
Yeah, well.
What?
I need it for my collection, Drew. I'll find her an extra one.
You're not a gentleman.
I am a gentleman. You don't know me.
You're not a gentleman. You should be ashamed of yourself.
You can't even look at me in the eye and tell me that. You're on your phone.
You're not a gentleman. Well, I'm
really
trying to
professional.
I'm trying to find you a picture of somebody that you mentioned. But go ahead. You should have given Missy your shirt. You're not a gentleman.
Okay, well, if I end up finding one and giving her that shirt instead, I will be a gentleman. And I made sure she didn't find some reproduction or something that was,
you're
as you like to say.
You're a real piece of junk. You got to find her a new. We're gonna rename you Junk Springsteen.
What are you talking about?
You couldn't.
Because I didn't have another shirt, Drew. It was 30 degrees out.
So what? Be a gentleman. Give her your shirt. What a piece of junk.
It's Missy Hyatt. She can afford any shirt anywhere.
Junk Springsteen, everybody. Couldn't give Missy Hyatt his t-shirt right off his back. What a piece of junk.
Yeah, Mr. Clean. I'd relax.
Whatever.
Mr. Imminent. Mr.
Missy,
Payroll.
if you need a t-shirt, I'll be happy to give you one. All right.
Okay, go find that Beach Blast 92 shirt and you give it to her then. Go ahead. See how hard it is to find that shirt, Drew. Okay. You would understand.
Go call Bill Apter. I'm sure he'll give you a shirt.
I'm going to see Bill Apter in March. And he gave all his shirts to Wrestling for Sale. He sold those because I was trying to get a lot of those shirts. He had quite a bit.
Isn't that the guy who has like an insane collection?
Yeah, Apter's Alley. He's got a hell of a collection.
No, the dude from
Wrestling for Sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's got one too. They both got crazy collections of stuff. I interviewed him. So yeah, good guy. Okay. So speaking of good people, and I want to mention this because this dropped in the news today. Chris Bay, TNA superstar, my God, a couple of months ago had a horrific incident in a match with him, Ace Austin, and the Hardys at a TNA taping, and he had to have emergency surgery. Not much was known about it. It was very vague. They kind of kept it close to the vest. They tried to raise money. I know the major WF pod guys, Cardona, Myers, who's in TNA, and Mark Sterling, of course. They made a figure where all the proceeds would go to Bay. And everybody in the community, wrestlers, fans alike, showed support for Chris Bay. And only up until recently, where RVD mentioned that he had actually visited him a few times and mentioned that he had been paralyzed and didn't really know what else was going to happen. That was all we really knew until today, where he posts on his birthday a 9-second video. I got chills just saying that, of him just getting out of the chair and walking towards the camera. And a bunch of a huge note that he wrote out saying all the stuff that had happened and how it all went down, and just thanking everybody for their support. And who knows, he says, if he'll ever wrestle again, but I'm sure he's just grateful that he can, live somewhat normal, comfortable life now. Just an amazing recovery. You never know what's going to happen. Drew, you mentioned all the time that these guys and girls risk their lives every single night, and you never know what's going to happen. So for him to be told 10 to 15% chance of walking again to actually doing it is remarkable. So shout out Chris Bay.
God bless Chris Bay. God bless the doctors. God bless everybody. And very thankful that Chris is able to do what we take for granted every day. So majority of us. So thank God, and Godspeed to Chris Bay, and good luck. And
shout out to TNA they were so behind him, and any company could have really just taken it in any way. You don't know how an incident happens in your ring. It's very serious, and there's a lot of things that could go wrong, but it's all how you react. And they were supportive, I think, from, minute one. And I think I'm glad that they're still around doing what they do. The pro wrestling landscape, for as much negativity as you see online, truthfully is very positive if you know where to look. So it's nice to see good stories coming out. So
I agree. There's, amongst the negativity, there obviously are good eggs, and there's everybody, if you you have something negative to say about this, you're a real piece of shit. So
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Raging piece of shit.
Yeah. You're no Junk Springsteen, but you're a POS. I'll tell you that.
That's it. We got it. Drew and Junk. I like that.
Yeah. Whatever it takes. Hey, at least I'm on the marquee. You got to make a new graphic, Drew. We just went through all this trouble to make a graphic, and now you're going to make a new one.
Listen, I'm going to bring on Missy
Replace
Hyatt.
the juice box. Go
so
ahead.
She can call
bring
you
her on.
Junk. She can call you Junk.
Yeah, you weren't there, Drew. So it's fine. So you're saying you don't want things autographed. You just want photos. I say I just wanted a photo, and you're critiquing me for not giving my shirt to her. She didn't need a shirt.
She said she never got.
Yeah, is that my fault? Did I work in WCW?
She said she never got the shirt. She said she won the bikini contest in 1992.
She did win the bikini. That's what happened.
The gentleman thing to do would be to take off the shirt that you could go find because you know where to look. Give it to the woman and go on.
If I could find one readily available, I would have done that. But I didn't readily have one to where. Oh, here you go. I got a second one right in my closet.
Hence why you are a piece of junk.
Hence why I've pledged that I will find one and she will get one under my watch. And when that happens, we'll silence this whole conversation.
All right. Okay. All right.
Mark my word. It might even be the tank top, the junkyard, the juice box. But there's the thing. I could parlay junk into anything. Whatever. I'll take it.
Love me a good parlay. So you were wearing a tank top or a t-shirt?
It was a t-shirt, but they make a Beach Blast 92 tank top.
Nobody cares.
It's got artwork of Ricky Steamboat and Rick Rude on it. You want to see what shirt I got on today?
No, I know. Oh, God.
It's my new favorite t-shirt, Drew. You ready?
God. The Canadian Dream, son of a secure. They make those? Who makes that?
Homage.
Homage? Okay, I like it.
It's probably.
Is it a long sleeve shirt?
No, it's regular short sleeve.
Oh, well, listen.
It's a great material.
Don't get out the pipe cleaners. You might, the girls, they might go wild, brother.
No, I'm all good. I'm pretty locked in.
Oh,
not looking.
Oh, that's right. Happy anniversary, I think, right?
Yeah, it was the other day. Yeah, sure. It was. Thank you.
Listen,
Thank you for paying attention, Drew.
I got a lot going on. You're lucky I got that. Right?
What, do you got kids or something?
Yeah, 12 of them.
I'll get you that Heath Slater shirt. I got kids.
That's
the shirt I'll give you. I'll give Hyatt the Beach Blast shirt. You'll get the Heath Slater shirt. From
I didn't know Homage was selling that stuff.
Yeah. Well, they ran out of the large on WWE Shop. So I went to Homage, and I found it.
All right. There you go.
Yeah,
we know you don't fit into a large. Knock it off.
Nah, it fits pretty well.
All right.
Yeah. So
let's son of a gun. All right. Go ahead.
Did they sell out of it?
No. Go ahead.
Can you imagine? All right. Before we get to anybody coming into the chat and throwing out some questions for Drew and myself, we gotta talk about Grand Slam Australia.
Mm-hmm.
The controversy or whatever you want to call it. All that matters, it's gonna be Saturday night. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be watching USA and Canada and the Four Nations. I'll watch the dunk contest, the 3-point contest, whatever other bullshit they're gonna do. It's gonna be more exciting than the All-Star game. But then I'll be locked in. 5 matches, Grand Slam Australia. I'm not looking at any spoilers. Almost every match has someone from Australia in it. So I find that very intriguing. Yeah, I find it very intriguing. And I'm not necessarily saying it's going to go all in the WWE route of, well, it's your home country, therefore you're going to lose. So I think some are going to actually win here, Drew. How are you? Yeah, there you go. Is it going to be live for them in Australia? How's that going to go?
Is there something wrong with you?
What?
Of course it's going to be live for them.
Well, maybe they want to watch the NBA. Yeah, 5:30 for them. It's going to be they're recording at 2:30 in the morning here. Too bad it wasn't live.
They're airing that at 2:30 in the morning?
No, when it's recorded, it's going to be, so the show's going to be filmed 5:30 Australian time, and it's going to be 2:30 Eastern, 2:30 in the morning here. When that happens. Ben says
live on ESPN here. Yeah, I just, I want to let everyone know that not a lot of people are talking about this, but Disney and ESPN wanted this show for AEW in Australia. So I just saying. But yes, the show will be live for those in Australia.
Yeah, and this is their first foray in Australia. No?
Yes.
Yeah. So which is why I was so like, not concerned. That's probably the wrong term, but just like why they kind of seem to fall off with the promotion of it when we were like, man, are they ever going to announce more than one match and what have you? But I think the card actually turned out pretty well.
Listen, I think Dynamite.
I think two women's matches that are going to kill it. So
yeah, I think Dynamite did well last night. I thought it was a very
yeah.
entertaining show, and it's going to bleed right into Grand Slam. We could have had more involvement, I think, from Toni Storm and Mariah May, but they did air the packages, the promos, the sit downs, all that other stuff. So, and I think both those women are probably already in Australia. So I'm here for it. I thought AEW Dynamite was a good show, and I'm ready for Grand Slam.
Yeah, so let's get into it. I don't know really where to start, so we're going to start with something that'll lead into the top of the card next month. Jay White and Cope versus the Death Riders, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli in the Brisbane Brawl. Something probably akin to the Stadium Stampede or the Anarchy in the Arena.
Oh, they're just going to beat the shit out of each other.
AEW loves these matches, and I do as well, because it's presented as they're going to go everywhere and beat the shit out of each other, and you don't need anything else to promote that. I feel like Cope and Jay White get the win to get Cope that momentum going into Revolution. What say you?
I think, I'm going to go with Cope and Jay White. I do believe that, I think Moxley's losing the world championship. Not at obviously Grand Slam, but I think it's sooner rather than later. So I could see this match going each way. But I could absolutely see, Cope and Jay White getting the victory here.
Yeah, I initially was thinking, maybe Moxley and Claudio get that win to be like, oh, well, we have the advantage going into the March pay-per-view, but that's over a month away. So to me, I think it is better that Cope gets that. Maybe he gets the pin on Moxley. Who knows? Anything's happening in one of these brawls. So it's not like it takes away if you get pinned if you're Mox.
You know what's interesting? You're the WCW historian, and do you not remember that WCW filmed an episode of Nitro in this building?
Was that in 2000?
It was.
They had a tour of it in 2000. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think there might be a shirt commemorating that.
God.
But I do not have
that.
I'm
sorry for bringing it up.
You shouldn't. No, come on, Drew. This is you're on the show for your business acumen and your ticket knowledge and everything. I'm on here for everything else labeled bullshit.
Yeah. Billy asked how many tickets are sold for Grand Slam, Drew. I want to say they're over 10,000, maybe even closer to 12, 13.
And I want to kind of piggyback off that. Do we know where we're at with the Grand Slam, with All In Texas tickets at the moment?
I don't.
Okay. I don't. Because isn't it set up for? Is it set up for 30?
No.
Or 25.
I think. Well, it's not set up for anything over 20 right now. I think once they continue to sell tickets, they'll go to 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. I would be shocked if they're over 30, but I think they will. I'm going to make a prediction. Could be wrong with prediction. I do believe that AEW will get at least 22 to 24,000 people at Globe Life Field. So,
and as long as it looks great on TV, 24,000 is wonderful. It's like it's nothing to sneeze at. For their all-in show where they were over, they can do it there. It's gonna be good.
If you're talking about the Australia show, no, they're not set up for 18,000, sir.
Yeah, I believe it is.
The capacity, I think, is 13, so there's no way they're set up for 18,000 for Australia. If you're talking about all in, yes.
Yeah, the initial capacity from Suncorp Stadium was 52,000, but they knocked it back to this Brisbane Center, which has a capacity of 13,500. Right. Yeah. So, there you go. But I mean, again, you get rabid fans in there. I'd prefer this instead of trying to shoot so high and selling half. I'd rather shoot a little lower, but pack it.
You don't want it to sound like
I've never seen it.
Yeah, you don't want this to sound like rocks in a tin can. Smart move.
A little tired, Drew. You need some sleep.
I mean, yeah, it's been a long week.
Where's your espresso?
Just water with some lemon right now. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do love me some espresso morning, afternoon, and night, but After this, I'm probably going to eat a little bit and go to bed. So
you better treat me to some espresso in Dallas, or if we see each other in Philly, I'd like to. I want to have what you're having.
I will definitely be in Philadelphia for a Dynasty. I went to the first one. I'll be there for the second one. Dynasty was fantastic in St. Louis, and I'm going to be there for Philadelphia. Not sure on Revolution just yet, but I'm almost, damn near positive I'll be in Toronto. So.
For the Chamber, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will not see you there. I will be on my couch watching, but I
don't blame you. And if you can't be there in Toronto, go to the Cosm. Unbelievable experience.
That's true too. I mean, you were there. It looked amazing.
It was.
I'm hopeful that they expand Cosm to more cities. I just think it's a good idea.
It's very you need a lot of space.
True. I'm curious to see. So, and this is a little bit of a sidebar, but you're in the ticketing and that type of world. So I just want to maybe get your take on it. Because Green Bay gets the NFL draft this year, but Pittsburgh's getting it next year. And they're already setting up on how they're going to clear out space and do this and that in regards to construction to fill it out. So I'm curious to see how it all kind of plays out with how many fans were in Detroit? A couple 100,000, just for the draft. So
I think the NFL is smart to continue to do this where we know that they're not getting a Super Bowl, but we'll give you the draft and they could tout a huge number. So it's brilliant.
Brilliant. I mean, people love going to, I don't think I can go considering it's just in the 5th pick. Like they're just talking, so I don't know how much, it's more of a TV event, but it's going to look damn good. So just interesting to see. I think the wave of fans back there just to watch the draft is wild. So,
yeah, I would agree. It's a lot to behold. It really is. It's a sight to see.
Speaking of a sight to see, let's talk Continental Championship. Okada, Buddy Matthews. I mean, this could steal the show, and no one would be shocked by it.
100%.
We've got Australian Buddy Matthews going into this. This is coming off the heels of him, Brody King, and Julia Hart saying, we really don't need a leader anymore. We can do whatever we need to do either together or separately to get to where we need to go and be successful, whether that's
Okada's not losing.
What have you. So you think Okada's just going to roll through Buddy Matthews here?
Yes. I don't think he's going to roll. I think this is another opportunity for Buddy Matthews to shine. Okada, I don't think you've seen Okada in Gear 5 besides the Will Ospreay match. I think Okada has really toned down his style, his work rate, and everything else like that. And I'm not a work rate guy. I'm not like one of your, New Japan junkies or anything else like that. I'm not a
sicko.
Yeah, I'm not a work rate guy, but I will tell you that you could tell that Okada's he's got different gears, and I think that he's going to be in Gear 4 or 5 here against Buddy Matthews, and Buddy's going to bring it. It's going to be a good match. I'm with you. Probably could steal the show, but Okada's not losing here.
Where would you foresee him? Not where, but who's going to beat him then? If you had to, if it's not Buddy, who could beat him?
Well, it looks like we're getting Okada and Kenny at some point. So
is Kenny bigger than the Continental Championship or no?
So I think that should be for the World Championship. So we'll have to wait for the World Heavyweight Championship. So I think I think if it's me,
it is you.
Well, if I was in charge, I'd have Eddie Kingston.
I had the Sharpie.
I'd have Eddie Kingston beat Okada later on in when Eddie returns.
I was gonna say he's not even back yet, and you're booking him to win that.
Yeah.
And well, then how do we get to the world title on what, Kenny or so many other things have to fall into place?
I mean, it's really not that hard. Cope beats Mox
at Revolution.
Mox loses to Kenny at Double or Nothing.
What about Dynasty?
We're going to have a rematch with Mox, aren't you? I mean, Mox just going to lose and then he's just going to go away?
Maybe. I don't know. Right. I'm just saying there's a lot more TV than just placing matches every other month. Like other things have to come through. And
whatever
we don't have the hindsight of the foresight to know about injuries or anything. So who knows?
Whatever happens. So speaking of injuries, I mean, the biggest one that we're going to talk about here is Mercedes wants to do the independent stuff with HOG, House of Glory Wrestling. Let her do it. If it's so important to her, she's getting a big money deal for it, go for it. But here's what I'm telling you. You're dropping that TBS championship before March 15th, sweetheart. And it's not because, I don't feel like you could potentially, carry the brand and everything else like that. You have, and you've done a great job. But at the end of the day, you could get hurt at House of Glory. I'm screwed. And you're my TBS champion. So you're dropping that championship. And I would tell a man the same, it's not because Mercedes is a woman. I'm telling a man who's holding a major championship, hey, bud, you're dropping that title too, because at the end of the day, you go get hurt on somebody else's promotion, I'm screwed, especially if you're a major champion. Okay.
So I disagree with you. I think Buddy Matthews is going to win. I think they're going to pull the trigger on that.
What's in your juice?
Actually, there's no juice in this. Actually, no, there is real juice in this.
All right. Oh, RX Energy. I've seen those before. It's an herbal tonic.
Yeah, this is the best stuff. But why is it so crazy that Buddy Matthews couldn't win? Like what? So give me a real reason other than you just think Okada's going to win and he has this big plan. Can he not lose the title and then elevate? Is he not capable? Gunther did.
So you mean to tell me that you believe that Will Ospreay wasn't able to beat Okada, but Buddy Matthews is going to beat Okada?
I love this logic where if one guy can't beat one, the other guy can't possibly do it. It's a different night. Any given Sunday or Saturday night or Saturday morning as it's on Australia. Why can't, that's ridiculous to go, well, because Will Ospreay couldn't beat Okada. How could Buddy Matthews beat Okada? Oh my God. Like it's a different day. It's in Australia. He has the benefit of the home crowd. It's different. Come on, Drew. Believe.
Listen, junk. What I'm going to tell you is what I'm going to tell you is that Buddy Matthews getting this match was fine. I think it's great. It's it's kind of a local getting a championship opportunity. I'm here for it.
I mean, he's Australian. That's not kind of it.
Is he from Brisbane or Brisbane or however you say it?
He's from Melbourne.
All right.
But Australia's Australia. It's not like he's like, come on, Drew. You're reaching.
Okay, if you're from Buffalo, are you from Manhattan?
No, but you're from New York.
Get the fuck
You're New York. It's statewide, it's countrywide. Okay, this is the same thing as last week in the Spaces when I said WWE is going to act and say, wow, Cena's going to win the world title at SummerSlam in New York, New Jersey, near his backyard. And I'm not denying that backyards are not like that in Massachusetts. West Newbury.
You got some backyard, bro, if it's from New York to Massachusetts.
West Newbury, Massachusetts. But I'm just saying that's how they'll phrase it. So for Buddy Matthews, he's from Australia. They're in Australia. That's all they need to say. They're not pinpointing the exact area code where he lives. It's a generalization to help the match. Come on.
I like Buddy Matthews a lot. But I don't see him beating Okada. I think that's the one thing that we could almost stamp and guarantee that Okada is not losing on Saturday. And if he does, well, I'll come on here next week and tell you I'm a big dumb idiot.
You don't need to tell me that for me to know that.
I think your prediction is junk. Not juice. That's junk. Yeah. That's grade A junk.
Hey, you're on the marquee.
Buddy Matthews beating Okada, junk.
Upsets can't happen in pro wrestling. Not everything can be chalk, Drew.
You're about to get the go stack marbles on the freeway type of comment for me. It's junk juice. It's junk.
Junk juice. That's actually. Let's combine that. We can really work that. Junk juice. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. Next, I'm gonna what? What? Go ahead.
I mean, next
you're gonna load up another insult for juice. Let's just.
No, I mean Next, you're going to tell me that, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a tag team. Next, you're going to tell me that that the Max and Male Models are going to beat the Hurt Syndicate tomorrow.
Why, again, see, you make why would they put Buddy Matthews in here if the goal was just to get him in because he's Australian with no potential chance to win? Anything can happen in All Elite Wrestling. I believe in Buddy.
Junk.
But you're not giving me any reason other than Ospreay couldn't beat him, so therefore Buddy can't beat him. That does not compute in everything. Life doesn't work that way. It's Buddy Matthews.
Listen,
he's been put over recently.
His equity's gaining. Buddy Matthews doesn't give a shit about you, but I'm going to tell you this right now.
I don't care about Buddy Matthews' thoughts on me. It has nothing to do with personal. It's a one-on-one match, and I think he's going to win the title. Not that hard.
Listen. Buddy Matthews is a specimen. I think Buddy Matthews has all the potential in the world to be a future champion. It's just not at the expense of Kazuchika Okada.
And I'm surprised you even knew how to pronounce that name, let alone, okay, it's not even the world title. It's a secondary title. Can he not have it?
Why is it so shocking that I know how to say Kazuchika Okada?
Because you're an idiot. I don't know. What am I going to say? Okay. Because you floated on, because you say Monday Night Nitro. So your intellect is fluctuating at times. I'm surprised. I can't wait for you to name the Kyle Fletcher's tag team partner, first and last name.
Konosuke Takeshita?
2 for 2. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while.
Kiss penis and perish juice.
Juice.
I was gonna call you junk, but I was like, should I do it now? I was like, all right. Okada.
I get what you're saying, but your only defense is like, maybe if they
the only defense I need, junk.
This
is junk. This is junk. This is junk. Just junk. We are changing the name to this to just junk. Listen, I understand where you're coming from.
I just don't think it's so asinine to believe that he could win the match. You're making it seem like it's Rey Mysterio versus Kevin Nash. Like, it's not like that.
I mean, at this point in time, is Buddy Matthews a viable threat to Kazuchika Okada and his Continental Classic? Sell me on it.
Yeah, I just did. They all three of those, him and Brody King and Julia, got out of the Malachi Black thing, and they were all the promos are being like, hey, we don't need a leader. We can go do things on our own. And this is him doing that, proving that, and having an opportunity to do that. I don't know saying like he has to win, but I'm saying it could happen.
You know who's more of a credible threat right now to Kazuchika Okada? Brody King. If you told me Brody King was taking out Okada, I'd be like, oh shit, here we go.
Buddy Matthews is nothing to sneeze at. Like, what's the difference between he's gonna have?
First of all, Buddy is winning at life because he is engaged, dating, married, whatever to Rhea Ripley. So God bless him.
Wait a second. The first part I agree with, but also he's in a tag team now. What is that? What the hell does that even mean? You can't be in a tag team and win a singles title. That's happened thousands of times in pro wrestling history. But sure, maybe they did put him in because he's Australian. But are you going to say that about Harley Cameron and Jay White and Kyle Fletcher and Tony Storm? Are they all in there because they're Australian or because the stories dictate it?
Run down the rest of this goddamn card, please.
Well, tell me I'm wrong. Is every person that's Australian on this card only because they're Australian? Because that's ridiculous if you think that.
I mean, kinda. Timeless Tony Storm deserves to be there, no doubt about it.
Tony and Mariah is a real story, right?
Yeah. What else we got?
Ospreay and Kenny versus the Don Callis family. So Kyle Fletcher was going to be a part of that in a Kyle versus match, regardless.
Kyle versus Will would have been a great singles match, but they decided to go. They wanted Kenny on the card. They decided to make a tag match. I'm here for it. Takesha's the dog too.
Right. What I'm saying is Kyle is from Australia, so he was going to be in a high-profile match, regardless of it being in Australia or not, because he'll likely be in a high-profile match at Revolution. But he's not from LA. And then Buddy Matthews, you could probably tell me that because everybody doesn't think he's good enough to win. I'm the only person.
The same thing goes with Jay White and Cope. What the fuck is Jay White's involvement? He's not from Australia, but
he's New Zealand. I know. I didn't say everybody, but all I'm saying is everybody that is in that Australia area only in it because of location? Is Harley Cameron in there?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So Kyle Fletcher won't be in an important match at Revolution because he's not from California.
Bro, when 85% of the people who are in these matches are from the country or damn near close to the country.
Answer my question, Drew. But the next show, when they go to Revolution, almost all these people are still going to be in matches, and it's not going to be because they're from California. It's because the stories dictate it. These stories dictate it regardless of their location. What are you not computing with, Drew?
Okay. Mariah May and Tony Storm will probably have a rematch, and Tony resides in Universal Studios, which is in
I don't
Los
give a shit
Angeles.
Where she lives, where she's from.
Semantics, boy, you should.
Where she's from. Home country. That's this entire argument, Drew.
Monet and Harley will probably have a rematch. Monet talks about being from the state, Hollywood, and all this other bullshit. She's tight with Snoop. She's from the West, blah, blah, blah. Don't get me wrong. She's from Boston. I get it.
It's irrelevant of the other. I'm saying the Australians. Are they all
Okada and Buddy Matthews are not getting a rematch at Revolution.
Buddy Matthews
is fuck on down the road.
So Buddy Matthews, as long as he doesn't win this match, he doesn't have a match at Revolution.
Buddy Matthews?
Yes.
He might have a tag match.
But okay, so he'll be on the card, but he's not from California, so why would he be there? All I'm saying is I don't believe that the Australians on this show are only on there because they're from there. They all have integral pieces of stories in all these matches. You don't see that? Like Kyle Fletcher and Ospreay could have a match in LA or Double or Nothing.
But they're not. They're having a match in fucking Australia, Juice.
They are? Okay, but they're in a match against each other. It's just a tag match. Semantics, Drew.
This is junk.
No, you're not computing what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm computing, but most of the people on this card are from or close enough to that country.
Yes, but all I'm saying is it's not the reason they're on this show, because at the Revolution show in California, they're going to also be on that show, and they're not from California, so they're on there because the stories matter.
Why is Okada and Buddy Matthews having a match? Just because? Why?
That one I could agree with you, but I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying potentially Buddy, and then
Cope could have teamed up. Cope could have teamed up with anybody. He's teaming up with Jay White. Okay, he could have teamed up with anybody. He's Jay White, close enough for Gov. I mean, it's not close. I mean, I think they're like 5, 6 hours, 8 hours.
Oh yeah, I'm not counting New Zealand and the Jay White thing. I'm just saying that the other ones are going to still have a big match in the next.
Mariah's from London, I believe, right? Mariah May.
Yeah, I'm just talking the Australians, Tony.
And I think Tony's from New Zealand. I don't think she's from Australia.
Tony Storm is a New Zealand Australian professional wrestler. She's from Auckland, New Zealand. And shout out to her because she's married to another fellow named Juice. So neither here nor there, Drew. Buddy Matthews could or could not win. I think he will, and you don't think so. So let's go to...
No, he's not winning.
Okay, that's fine. That's what we're here for, is to predict. You don't think he'll win. That's fine.
I got a better chance of the Jets winning the Super Bowl this year than we do of...
Only because they got rid of that bum.
He might be in Pittsburgh, so bite your tongue, pal.
Great, because then we'll sink to the bottom and get a great high draft pick when we draft in Pittsburgh next year. That's what I want. I'm tired of 9 and 8 and 10 and 7. They don't go anywhere. They've been blown out of the last 6 playoff
Grandpa.
games. Yeah,
good.
It's not a football show. Anyway,
don't get your juice box all twisted, pal.
My straw's been twisted this entire show.
I could see it.
Yep.
Sounds like a good time though. Just as long as it's not, me being the one who's, tying up your straw or whatever it was, whatever you said, whatever analogy you used.
Keep going.
I don't know. What did you use? What was it?
Okay. No, I just said my straw. You said it's all twisted up. Yeah. I got my juice box and I said my straw is.
Go get your straw twisted up after the show. That's what I would do.
I mean, it is Thursday, but there's always time for some Monday Night Raw.
Juice, if they did Clash at the Castle in Ireland when they put Finn, Sheamus, Becky, and Lyra all on it, yes, companies do it. This is not a dig.
Yeah, I agree with you. All I'm saying is those same people will likely also be on the next show that's not in that country. I'm saying they're not only put on there because of that. They're still in high-profile matches. That comes off like, well, they're only on it because it's their home country. And I'm saying I think they have more than that.
All right.
We'll see. Well, when Revolution comes up next month, we'll see how many of the people we're talking about are on that show, and we can base it. And if Buddy Matthews walks in there as Continental Champion, we'll really be having a good conversation about it.
I bet we will, because Buddy Matthews is not going to be the Continental Classic Champion, and he's not even getting a rematch. Dunzo, finito, see you, bye-bye. That's what's going to happen. Yeah, he's going to lose to Kazuchika. He's going to Kazucha his way on down the fucking road.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, to be fair, this is the most, back and forth we've actually gone. This is maybe the first time we've actually had animosity on this show.
There's no animosity. I have no animosity.
No, conjured up animosity. Fired up.
I have no animosity.
You're
not going to catch me slamming my desk or anything else like that. I don't. Juice is junk. Juice is junk. Juice.
I feel like CM Punk when he got cut off in the pipe bomb when he goes, man, WWE has this bullying campaign. And then they cut off the mic. Yeah. So, Drew doesn't want to be a bully, but
I'm not. We're having fun. If you can't take a little heat, get the fuck out the kitchen. Okay.
Oh, I'm in the kitchen, pal. I'm cooking.
Hey, listen, call me
I'm
Mr.
cooking
Clean,
that Buddy Matthews is going to win. I'll call you bald asshole like Larry David.
Whatever. Don't bother me none. Bald and beautiful, baby.
Hey, that's in the intro on the audio part of our show. If you've ever listened to it, Drew.
It is.
The bald and the beautiful.
The bald and the beautiful.
All right. So you think Jay White and Cope are going to win, and you think Okada's going to win. So let's talk about these other matches on the show.
I'm gonna slap a guarantee on Kazuchika over Buddy. Slapping the guarantee. The bald guarantee. The BG of Grand Slam. The BG, bald guarantee.
Brian Ghoulish.
Shout out to Brian Ghoulish. Guy hates me.
No.
We're gonna give the BG the bald guarantee. Kazuchika Okada walks out with that Continental Championship. I mean, it's the easiest guarantee I've ever had to give.
Other than the Jets not making the playoffs.
You better watch it.
Jet up.
All gas, no brakes.
Oh, brother. Okay, let's get back on track, shall we? Sure. Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay versus the Don Callis family, Fletcher and Takeshita. I'm hyped. I like that they are kind of easing Kenny Omega back into the AEW fold by giving him a tag match because likely he'll probably go against Okada soon. They might do Omega Ospreay sooner than later.
Maybe
whether they're even as just good, like respectable teammates that want to have that match, or maybe it's for some stakes. We don't know, but I'm thinking this again. New York Strip.
You're fired.
Filet mignon.
No, filet mignon's junk. Porterhouse is okay. We're talking ribeyes.
Okay, ribeye. Okay. Not everything can be just. Yeah, here we go. Oh man, I think there's video of it somewhere, but I don't think I don't have that footage.
No,
I think so.
That's terrible. Give 50 Cent run for his money.
And that one.
I'm not helping myself here, but go ahead.
Oh well, yeah, you put the quote on the screen.
I didn't put it up. That's a producer. I don't produce that stuff.
All right. Man. So who do you think's gonna win? Don Callis family, or are we gonna get the good guys winning Ospreay and Omega? The real mega powers.
Brother. Because I think Monet, Okada, and I think there's a slight chance that Death Riders win. I'm going to go with the faces here in Will and Kenny.
I tend to agree. I'm just really curious on what's next for Omega. Like, is he just going to roll into that
singles run? I mean,
yeah, you bring up that he could be going for the world title, and I'd like to see that, but I'm just.
I would like to see Kenny versus Takeshita in a singles match at Revolution. I think Takeshita, I've said this a lot. Takeshita has a ton. I think he's a future star, big player for AEW. He could be their version of Shinsuke Nakamura, just obviously, a little bit different. But there's a lot of money in Takeshita and Omega, and I'd love to see them in Los Angeles.
Would that be for the international title?
Yeah, I think it could.
And that guy said Juice lost it. I never had it, so it's fine.
See, at least you could run. At least you could take a joke and run with it. That's good.
Drew, I bury myself all the time. It's one of my.
If you're gonna be in this line of work, you better be able to be beaten over your head with insults, everything else, and you got to be able to make jokes of it. So I'm happy you could do that. Good for you.
Joke Springsteen.
It's Junk Springsteen. It'll always be Junk Springsteen.
Yeah, we'll put that on a shirt.
Junk juice. I like it.
We'll give it to Missy Hyatt.
Oh God.
So anyway,
does your girlfriend know you're shopping for Missy Hyatt?
I'm not actively shopping, and I told her
that's not what I was told.
She also doesn't watch this show.
So. Go ahead.
It's quite all right.
It's quite
yeah, it doesn't matter. Omega and Ospreay, I think, do win, but yeah, if it's Omega Takeshita, you'd wager that the international title's on the line because that's what Takeshita has. But is Omega beneath the international title?
No, I think Kenny. I think Kenny you could see a run with Kenny where he's winning championships. Somebody put in the post. I don't
the belt collector.
I don't know where the comment was, but somebody said SRS and Meltzer said something about the plan is Omega and somebody Omega Okada for a unification match at All In, which I mean, I think Omega and Okada are definitely going to face each other at All In. A unification match would work for me too.
Yeah, I'm here for a unification. So at least one of, and I mean the Continental or International, need to be joined with something.
That's right. That's what I said. Because
is that what you said, Drew? Because he had the wrong version of "there" in there.
Oh damn! We got a grammar slam on Blake Benjamin. I love it. Grammar slam presented to you by Junk Juice. I will say that he could be there, Nakamura, but different because I don't like the comparisons of anybody to anybody where they're like full on. That's the next Undertaker. Man, there's only one. So there's only one Nakamura. I think that he could be a version like what WWE did with Nakamura. I think AEW could do with Takeshita. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I feel like, especially with what they've been doing with Nakamura recently and kind of giving him that. It's cliche to say a great Muta like twist on it, but it is. It's very like comic book, dark, brooding character, and I like that. So for Takeshi to get that, I don't see why that would be any sort of issue. So there you go. I do have a journalism degree, and you're seeing me use it for free.
Bing bang boom.
That's right. So I think that match is going to be great. I don't see any of these matches not delivering, which again, AEW, even if it's not a pay-per-view, their bigger shows tend to always hit. Everything is pretty damn strong. So
yeah, I would agree. I think that AEW Grand Slam has had a good track record, and I think this show, will live up to a lot of the other Grand Slams, especially when you have 3 championship matches. I said this before. I know we're going to get into it. The Monet Harley Cameron match should absolutely open this event.
Bookend with the women.
Women, 100% for me, because I think a strong lead in from the NBA 3-point slam dunk contest, and then you have Monet's music hit. A lot of people are like, well, what if you have Will? With all due respect to Will, I don't think Will is as polarizing and or as crossover appeal as Monet is. People know who Mercedes Monet is.
Mercedes has been to NBA games and
right.
She's a big Celtics fan. It's all there.
You get a strong lead in, and a lot of people be like, "Oh, I know who that is. Like that's such and such from WWE." And who's she take? Oh, Harley Cameron. Okay, who the hell's Harley Cameron? I mean, and
you'll find out, won't you?
You could open with Cope and Jay White taking on Mox and Claudio,
but especially because it's a brawl. Because it's kind of, who knows where they'll start. They could be in the audience already fighting, But
and if the first music you hit is you think you know him and it's it's Adam Copeland, again, big strong visibility. Right, strong visibility, but I think they're going to need it. I think Monet and Cameron fits the bill. And I think, which is the next match we're going to talk about. A lot of people were saying, give the title to Harley. I think Harley should have a showcase. She should come out, do very well, but Monet gets the victory. Monet starts to be like, ooh, that was, skin of my teeth there with that one.
Close. Yeah.
And like I said, I put this post out. I think Harley asked for a rematch and Mercedes denies it because she's she's not going to say it, but she's intimidated by the possibility of a rematch. Harley earns it and wins it at Revolution. That's how I would do it. But if they don't do it, I'm still here for it.
Well, I kind of agree with you, though, because it lines up with your other theory that maybe Monet won't be TBS champion by the time she has that HOG match. So if that lines up exactly, then you would think, well, of course, she'll lose it. And it would make more sense for her to go, a week away from that defense. Was it the 15th? Is that HOG show?
I believe so, yes. No, I think you're right. Yeah.
That's a week after Revolution. So, I mean, and plus, depending on who she faces at that show, if she's not champion, she could be pissed off going into that match and they could play off of that. And I think there's definitely some avenues they could go with it. But Harley Cameron, man, she's been such a nice change of pace of again, AEW needs to cash in on things when they're organically getting over. And that's not necessarily meaning they have to give her the title right away or at all. but they're giving her this featured opportunity because she's so damn over, and it's real, it's authentic, it's organic, she's funny, her comedic timing is wonderful, and it works. And that's what they need to keep doing. AEW is, you want to build new stars that aren't already established. You need to lean into things that somehow get over, whether you planned on it or not. Just roll with it, and that's what you're getting. Harley Cameron gets a big spot here, so I'd be happy if she wins, but if she loses, I kind of agree. I think she'll get that, well, I almost won, so you kind of owe me again, or I can earn it, and maybe they get that rematch, which will have even more fanfare.
Yeah.
You know, because the fans will be even more behind her, knowing she was so close, and maybe she'll likely win in LA. So I wouldn't mind seeing either one. So Mariah May, Toni Storm. I think this should main event. Are you in agreement with that?
I'm in agreement with that. And here's the thing with this one too. A lot of people were like, we want Harley Cameron to win her championship opportunity, which I get. But I said this to somebody I was talking to this morning, and let's see if you agree. I think if you flip the championship from Mercedes to Harley, and then you flip the championship from Mariah to Toni, somebody's championship win is going to be lessened or not remembered or not have the overall impact that you would want it to have. I think Grand Slam Australia is for Toni Storm. Now, I could see them doing one or the other. I don't see them doing both, but I think Grand Slam Australia would be the perfect time for Toni to win back the AEW World Heavyweight Women's Championship. If they don't, then, Revolution is the time and the place. But I do believe, I don't think we're walking out of here with Mariah and Monet both walking out as champion. I think one of them will lose, and I think, the smart money would be on Mariah dropping it to Timeless. So.
And again, I think all that lines up with where we've placed it. If you have, because I can agree, but I somewhat disagree with if one wins the championship, it lessens the other. I think if you bookend it correctly, you could have Harley win the opening match and have a great start to the show, and have Toni close out the show with a win as well. But I think it's better, like you said, Mercedes walks out so close, skin of her teeth. But, all the momentum, and Harley Cameron probably get a standing ovation after that, being like, wow, you got so close in your home country. But then you close out the show with Toni realizing that dream after losing the title, becoming a rookie again, and getting back into this role and winning. I think it's a great story that, again, AEW's one of the best stories that they've had is this Toni Storm, Mariah May thing. So cash in on that. And then regardless, you probably can get a third match out of them at Revolution, regardless who wins at Australia. So
I agree wholeheartedly.
So I agree with all that. And I, like I said, overall, I'm just hyped for this, regardless of how it came together to be, when this show is and where it is and what time it is. I'm looking very much forward to this Grand Slam Australia, because the Grand Slams have always delivered, whether Arthur Ashe or here. So
I'm looking forward to it as well. I think it's going to be a good show. And I'm looking forward to watching what they do in terms of how this event is booked as we get closer and closer to Revolution. So I think there's some things, there's some nuances, there's some bleed over ability to Revolution, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. So.
Yeah, Revolution will be that backlash to Grand Slam's WrestleMania. Some stuff will bleed into that next actual pay-per-view from here, but maybe nuanced in a way where, like I said, maybe Harley gets that rematch somehow. She earns that, and Toni defends against Mariah, but maybe there's a third person involved. Who knows? Like, there's so many different ways they could go about it, but I'm interested to see where they pay it off this Saturday from Australia. So that being said, I feel like we've covered quite a bit. We went down some roads I didn't anticipate, but it made for some more entertaining streaming option here. So if we want to go to some viewer Q&A, I'm here for that. If anybody's got some questions, throw them in the comments, and Drew and yours truly will answer them. Yeah,
we got about a couple minutes here, so throw your questions in there, and then we'll take them, and we'll answer them to the best of our ability. I see that Shaq went on TNT and said, who cares, we're getting fired anyway, and dropped a couple F-bombs, so good for him, I guess.
What? Really?
Yeah, he said, who gives a shit, Ernie? We're getting fired anyway. And then he said, F it. Let's see. Would y'all love to see Wardlow and NXT versus Oba? Of course. I think Oba Femi is a dog. I think Oba is going to do great. things here in WWE, and I believe that Oba has the opportunity to really, really change the landscape going forward, not only of NXT, but for WWE as a whole. I think he is Bobby Lashley, but better. I think he's Brock Lesnar, but could have more of an impact in WWE.
And he's taller than both those guys, right? And that passes that airport test.
Yeah, Oba's got all the tools. If he's got all the tools to be an absolute star. But I think he could be this version of Bobby and Brock. Absolutely.
So what are your thoughts on Wardlow though? No comment on Wardlow. If he were to not be in AEW, I've said that I think he would thrive in an NXT spot. Whether he goes to Raw or SmackDown eventually, I think at least at NXT, I think he'd kill it there.
Yeah, I think I think Wardlow would thrive in any company if used correctly, and if booked properly.
Yeah, he thrived on the indies. I think he's done well in AEW outside of, some injury problems maybe, and, maybe some creative stuff that's gone on, but overall. So
Josh Alexander hired Barry Bloom. He reps Okada, Ospreay, the Elite Jerichos. It looks like he's definitely taking the most money.
Yeah, I'm wondering where he ends up.
I think he ends up with WWE, but I mean, I could see him in AEW, but realistically, I think that's another name that I think WWE could snag and go throw in NXT. So
I'd like to see him work with Chad Gable because they got that. I mean, that amateur wrestling thing going. I don't see why not, but yeah, good again. Us suggesting, oh look, I think he'd go great in NXT. It's not a detriment to the guy or a girl that would go there. NXT is a worthwhile brand that's on TV, that's got great viewership, and eventually what you could get. And NXT has a huge show at WrestleMania weekend. It's practically like they get their own big show at WrestleMania. So like what is there to lose by going to NXT? And we've said Julia and Stephanie Vaquer, tell them it's developmental. See what they say.
Exactly right. That's my thing. Like, tell these people it's developmental.
Yeah, insanity.
Let's see. Where are we? Drew likes On It. Pass. I do love On It. People from Fightful. What's up, Fightful? What's up? That's got to be Sean. That's got to be Sean.
Hey, if anybody comes in to this show just to bury Drew for even half a second, even if it's a backhanded positive, I need it.
Shut up.
Has gotten buried this entire show.
Question: do you think that we are going to get a Liv and Rhea and Io 3-way match? No. I've said this before. Here's what I think what's happening with Liv.
Man, that's a lot.
Yeah, I think
Liv and Rhea and Io 3-way for the title with Liv winning Elimination Chamber. Was it you that said you think Liv and howdy partner? Was it you that said you think Liv and Raquel?
I think Liv and Raquel win. I think Liv and Raquel win the tag titles.
Okay.
Or they're fighting for the tag titles at WrestleMania against Io Sky and a returning Asuka. Correct.
Yeah. Again, some people we all fantasy book, it's all whatever, but sometimes it's like overthinking to a point of one of these things could easily not. It's like a parlay.
Yeah.
If one little thing doesn't happen, okay, then none of what you said is going to happen. Sorry, you don't win anything.
Do you think AEW releases more people who want out? Got it, Scott. Big Papa Papa Joke. Apollo for hear me.
Like the sideline thing, like keeping people on the sidelines instead of just letting them go. Or
I think Tony has a very large roster, and I think Tony is going to manage it however he sees fit. But I think it would behoove Tony to cut some talent that he's not using weekly on television and who don't want to be there. I am of the mentality that if you're going to complain about this and that, you're going to stir up shit, then go see if the other people want you and go get on their payroll. There's only so many minutes on television. That's the thing.
Yeah. But luckily, like we've said, there's how many different companies now that are thriving, a lot of hours on TV. I mean, 3 hours on SmackDown now, for the time being. So
when is Keith Lee coming back to AEW? I have no idea. Keith had some health issues, man. I think Keith had some health issues. So
yeah, he did. Yeah, he really did.
Do you think AEW and WWE will continue to
pretty much the same thing that they asked? Besides Phoenix, Britt, and Wardlow,
I think
again, we don't know what's going on with some of those.
I still think there's time for Wardlow. I don't know if he's injured or not. That's something you should probably ask Sean. Sean would have a good idea about that. Sean Ross Sapp. The Britt thing. I'm not going to comment on that because I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
But Phoenix, yeah, I think they will let Phoenix go.
Phoenix made it known.
You should have never made it personal, though. Like, that's my thing. You should have never made anything personal. You should just shut the heck up, and they would have probably released you by now.
Watch out, Drew.
I'm just saying they should have. That's all you got to do. Shut up.
I've told you before. It's you. Nobody wins when you burn a bridge.
Yes, I see Punk being world champion before he retires.
1000%.
Who's the next person in line to women's championship? Not named Mariah O'Tony.
Chris Statlander.
I love Stat. I loved Megan Bain's debut too.
Oh, there's a lot of Megan Bain. Yeah.
There's a lot of talent from the AEW on the women's side that I think are yet to be utilized to their full potential. I like Willow, who's had a decent run with the TNA championship, but she's a really good performer and a really good wrestler. Stat had great matches with Monet.
Really over with the crowd too.
Megan Bain, Harley Cameron is coming into her own. It's an embarrassment of riches right now. Don't get me wrong. And the same could be said for WWE and their NXT and their main.
It's a great problem to have for sure. Especially where we've come from, Drew. I mean, over 10 years ago, it was a nightmare. And now it's like these are wonderful matches they're putting on.
Drew, any news on Scott D'Amore possibly working with AEW since he was backstage? I don't think Scott is available. And there's a lot more to the Scott D'Amore stuff that we're not going to talk about, but I don't know. Somebody said thoughts on JD landing an interview with Jose, the assistant. Truthfully, I don't care. That's not a shot at either of them. I'm not going to sit there and watch that. I don't, what is there to talk about?
What do you want to talk about?
Well, my thing is, what are we going to talk about? What do you like? What JD has a platform that I'm sure that, Jose wants to get on. So, okay.
Yeah. I mean, what do we talk about, Drew?
Right. What's the latest on Shane McMahon AEW? I don't think there is anything. I don't think it was going to happen. I mean, I think Shane was just with his mom and Triple H and Stephanie at her, swearing in and everything else like that. And I believe he was just with his dad and Taker at the Super Bowl. So I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that's it, Juice. I think we're out of here.
Cool. Great show, Drew. 6 weeks in. And we got some fireworks this episode. So
yeah,
it's always a great time shooting the shit with Mr. Baydala.
Yeah, I had a good time. It's always a blast. These shows are fun. You get a lot of, back and forth, and that's what it's all about. It's all about having fun. You come on here, you should have fun, whether you're doing it with your buddies or whatever. Nothing should be personal, and you shouldn't take wrestling too seriously. Andrew can't just be happy for his friend landing a big interview.
Oh my God.
First and foremost, I am happy for whatever people want to do. If that's something JD wants to do, good for him.
Just because you say you don't care or not going to watch it, does that mean you aren't happy for them? No. It's not for you, but that doesn't mean you aren't happy for them. That, like, the transitive properties don't line up like that.
I wish JD nothing but the best. I wouldn't, that's just not something that I would do. I think he has a big platform, and I think people at times use it for it. So that's it.
Yeah. I mean, again, you always say you don't do dirt. We're not here to throw mud at anybody. All you did was answer that honestly. And yet
there's nothing else to talk about with it. I wish JD the best. And I just don't know if
his future endeavors.
I don't know. Like, what are you guys going to talk about? Why Jose was let go? They're obviously going to talk about the comments that was made. I just think that there's no win in that. So I hope I'm wrong. But I'm not, I'm not clamoring for
the people that'll. But again, it might not even be for you. Like the people there, I'm sure there's a lot of people that would want to see that, and good for them, and they'll get a great show if that's what they want to see. But like just because you don't have an interest in it doesn't mean you aren't happy for something to happen to those guys.
And I'm sure his audience will enjoy it. It's just not for me. You know, I watch Chris Van Vliet because he gets top people.
But people are critical of him for getting people that maybe they don't think he should get. Okay, but it's not your show; it's his show. He's supposed to get who he needs to get for his program. If you don't want to watch it,
and he gets it. Tune in. So, you know, a lot of people are envious of a lot of people. Envy is a nasty color. So,
yeah, it is for sure.
It is. All right. That's it for me. That's it for Juice. Juice, tell everyone where they can like, subscribe, and follow you.
At Juicy Steen on Twitter. Let's chat. Let's talk Beach Blast 92 t-shirts, baby. But no, seriously, anytime you want to talk WCW with me, I'm here. Anytime you want to talk any current wrestling, I'm here. Just good banter, good stuff. The Juice Box every Friday, anywhere you listen to podcasts. You know, just have fun. It's just pro wrestling. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, just enjoy each other.
Just have a good time. Drew and I have this show as a great, fun banter discussion, and we're grateful that we have people that want to talk. That's all we can ask. You know, it's very simple at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's it. You know, not life or death. Just a show. Just two friends doing the show. I'm at it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow Final Bell Media. Follow me on X. I appreciate all the love and support. It's humbling to see people come in here. We had a lot of people in here. It's humbling to see that people want to hear my takes on things. So I appreciate that wholeheartedly. At the end of the day, we're all the same. We all hopefully want the best for everybody in the industry. And, you know, at the end of the day, I have no issues with anybody. And that is the honest to God truth. There are no issues with me and anybody. The whole drama with this whole IWC stuff is crazy. Everybody can come sit at my table and eat. As soon as they cross the line and they're disrespectful, that's when they got to go. And that's it. And hopefully
I just wanted to jump in because you said cross the line, TNA. You said sit at the table with the head of the table. Everything's wrestling, Drew.
Yeah. So it is what it is. I appreciate the love and support. We'll catch you guys next week. You know what? I'll be on social media tomorrow. Obviously, maybe we'll have some espressos. Maybe we'll talk. Maybe we won't. You'll definitely see me after Grand Slam. I'll have a quick show review. Maybe I'll have a post show. Who knows? We'll keep it posted, keep it locked on our socials. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow Final Bell Media. Make sure you hit that notifications for hit that bell so when we go live, you'll know. Follow Juice, follow me. Catch you guys down the road. I appreciate it. Juice, thanks for everything.
Too, brother.